I had completely hit a wall with my fitness. My motivation was shot. I was on a plateau that felt more like a cliff. I looked down at the gadget that was already on my wrist every single day. For the past year, my goal was simple: get stronger, improve my cardio, and just feel less sluggish. But my reality was a mess of inconsistency. I'd have one great week, feeling like a champ. I just went all in on its native apps and settings to build a system that would act like a real coach. The 3 rings: move, exercise, and stand were no longer just pretty circles. They were my daily contract. Red for active calories, green for minutes of real activity, and blue for not sitting on my butt all day. With the updates in WatchOS 11, the system is more intelligent. I could set different goals for different days. My coach knew Tuesday was a high-intensity day and demanded more calories, while Friday was for active recovery with a lighter target. The watch automatically detects if you've started a walk or a run and pops up with a reminder to start a workout if you forgot. Mondays and Tuesdays were for high. Wednesday was a lighter, stand-focused day. The plan: 3 minutes in heart rate zone 4, recover for 1 minute in zone 2, and repeat 5 times. I started looking forward to seeing my workout stats, not as a judgment, but as a debrief with my coach. Also, I really want to know what tools or apps do you use to stay motivated. Drop a comment below. I read every single one. It measures the strain from your last 7 days of workouts and compares it to your 28-day average. If 2 or more of those were out of my typical range, I'd get a heads up. My coach was essentially saying, "Hey, you're not recovered today? Maybe don't go for a personal best." My watch wasn't just coaching my workouts. It was coaching my entire 24-hour cycle of effort and recovery. I could see exactly how much time I spent in each heart rate zone and started connecting those numbers to how I actually felt. It gave me the daily accountability, the real-time feedback, and the long-term strategy I was desperately missing. I was expecting to feel a little better, but the data told a much bigger story. It was how I felt. That afternoon slump that used to hit me like a truck, gone. I was sleeping better. My energy was just there. But the biggest change was in my head. I went from dreading exercise to actually craving the structure and the feedback. I no longer felt lost at the gym. For just 1 week, pick one thing, like focusing on heart rate zones on. See how it changes your workouts? Let me know in the comments how it goes. I'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the next one. I had a plan, a purpose, and a coach on my wrist, keeping me honest. I felt in control, empowered, and for the first time in a long, long time, genuinely motivated. I was learning my body's language. That easy breathing feeling of zone 2 became totally distinct from the breathless push of zone 4. My resting heart rate, a huge indicator of heart efficiency, dropped from 60 beats per minute down to 50. My VO2 max, a measure of how well your body uses oxygen, and a massive marker for fitness, went up by 3 whole points, without feeling like I was working any harder. In fact, because I was training in the right zones, it often felt easier. This answered the question: am I doing too much or not enough? In week 3, after a few really tough days, my watch buzzed with a notification. My training load was well above average. It was my coach, warning me that while I was making progress, I was also ramping up so fast that I was risking burnout or injury. The next day, I took a full rest day. My training load went back to steady. It was a revelation. My coach wasn't just a drill sergeant. It was a sports scientist, helping me train smarter, not just harder. The haptic alerts got less frequent because I was starting to feel the zones myself. My coach was teaching me how to listen. The old me would have just gone until I felt tired and called it a day. This time, but I glanced at my watch. I was only in zone 3. My coach was basically telling me, "You've got more in the tank." So I pushed harder. My heart rate climbed, and the screen ticked over to zone 4. That real-time objective data was a slap in the face. It was a powerful lesson. My perceived limits were not my actual limits. That first week taught me I'd been coasting for months. My coach was relentless. Closing those rings every single day, especially with the higher goals I'd set, was a grind. I had a few nights where I was literally pacing my living room just to close that last sliver of the move ring. Thursday was strength, and Friday was a dedicated zone to cardio session for recovery. The watch didn't just tell me what to do, it helped me build a plan I could actually stick with. These 3 rules were the foundation. This little nudge saved me from losing credit for so many workouts. And the real game changer: I could finally pause my rings for a planned rest day without breaking my streak. It felt like having a coach who gets that rest is just as important as the work. These weren't suggestions. This was my new training protocol. My coach insisted I stop guessing my intensity. The Apple Watch automatically creates 5 heart rate zones based on your health data, from super light effort in zone 1 to an all-out sprint in zone 5. Before this, that feature was just a colorful graph I'd glance at after a workout. Now, it was my live guide. I customized my workout screen so that my current heart rate zone was front and center, whether I was running, cycling, or doing height. I wasn't just going to track steps or glance at texts. I was going to use its built-in features, the ones most of us ignore, to see if it could actually give me the structure, motivation, and data-driven guidance of a real-life trainer. Personal trainers are incredible, but that's a serious financial commitment. I was stuck in that frustrating middle ground, needing guidance, but not being able to pay for it. It was like a voice in my head, prompted by my wrist, saying, "You're supposed to be in zone 4 for this interval." The watch uses your heart rate reserve, which it updates monthly, to keep these zones perfectly tailored to you. As you get fitter, I even set up haptic alerts, a silent but effective tap on the shoulder for my coach that would buzz if I dropped out of my target zone. It was the difference between just running and actually training. It was a vicious cycle. I'd look at my Apple Watch and see those 3 sad, unfinished activity rings, a little monument to my failed intentions. I knew something had to give, and I decided the solution wasn't in my wallet, but right there, on my wrist. My gym routine was a joke. I'd wander around, lift a few things, do some half-hearted cardio, and leave feeling more defeated than when I walked in. I was stuck, just going through the motions. The fire was out. 1. The problem. My fitness rock bottom. 2. The experiment. Building my digital coach. Rule number 2. Train with purpose. Get specific with. Rule number 3. Consistency is everything. Smart. Structure. 3. The journey. 30 days in action. And speaking of listening, if you're finding this journey interesting, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. Section 4. The game changer. My coach leveled up, and the coaching became even more holistic. The new Vitals app gave me a single snapshot of my key health metrics from when I sleep: heart rate, respiratory rate, sleep duration. 5. The results. The shocking transformation. Can your Apple Watch replace a personal trainer? For someone like me stuck in a rut, needing data and structure without the high cost of a coach, it was an absolute game. But let's be real about what it can't do. An Apple Watch can't check your form on a deadlift to make sure you don't wreck your back. It can't write the kind of super-specific program a professional athlete needs. And it can't replicate that unique human-to-human connection and encouragement you get from a great trainer. There are things a person can see and say that technology just can't, at least not yet. But what this experiment proved to me is that the barrier to getting fit and training smart is lower than it's ever been. We think we need expensive gear or elite coaches, but the tools for a profound change are more accessible than we realize. My Apple Watch didn't just track my fitness. It taught me how to understand my own body. It turned data into knowledge and my motion into real progress. The best coach isn't always the most expensive one. It's the one that shows up for you every single day. And for the last 30 days, that coach was right here on my wrist. If you made it this far, thank you for watching.